Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aquarius October 2025 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. We've got a lot to talk about this month as usual, and one of the highlights is this first in a string of 3 supermoons, full supermoon in Aries. I'm calling the theme of this month for Aquarius manifestation, magic, and momentum. And we'll get into all of those details as to why I'm using those words. This is for you if Aquarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Aquarius placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Aquarius friends, so birthdays like February 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degree placements of Aquarius through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Pisces report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. We've got a lot of energy supporting the idea of manifestation and momentum at this time, so let's just start to talk about those layers. Now, in the long-term story, we've got Neptune, Eris, and Chiron all in Aries. Aries movements are very beneficial for Aquarius because they make an awesome angle. They speak your language. They help you take action on your brilliant ideas. They help you move forward with the best of the ideas that you have. And Aquarius people come up with a lot of ideas. So this is a time where choosing what you want to back of your ideas and taking action on them is very well supported. Until October 21st, we've got all the personal planets moving forward, and this is the window, the last big window of the year. We've got a little bit of time at the very end of the year, but most of the rest of the year is covered in Mercury retrograde cycle, which is a fine time for very many things. But it's not as easy to push, to make things happen, to make big decisions and have clarity around that. And you've got that window now for the first 3 weeks in October, coupled by the support of long-term Aries energies. And then in the days around October 6th, we'll say very strong from October 3rd through October 9th, especially, but you can probably feel it before and after then because this is a supermoon. A supermoon is when the moon is actually closer to the Earth. Its gravitational effects can be felt and seen more. The moon looks bigger. We can see that as well. And the effects on our lives can be more dramatic, for better or worse. So in this time, the magic, the insights, elucidation into the lesser seen worlds, things coming out of the unconscious space, things manifesting that you've been building towards, information coming out, hidden things being revealed. Expect all of that to happen in this first part of the month. And if you're needing to take action on something, Aries energy is the queen of that, queen/king of that. Okay, so move forward as much as you can, because what is going on until October 21st is you are on the shore. My little tidal analogy, the tides are going out, so anything you put on them will just be carried out so much more easily. As of October 1st or 21st, you are on the shore and the tides start moving in. And when that happens, when you're trying to push things out, it bumps back to you. Okay, so October 21st and onward for a while will be better for going back over things, for waiting on the shore and seeing what comes to you, for the, oiling the squeaky wheel, as it were, because there will be a lot of squeaky wheels in that retrograde time, and you will start to feel those tides shift the latter part of the month. But with the Aries energy in the beginning of the month, the longer term Aries energies, the nice aspects to Aquarius, just take this time to make those decisions if you have the information you need. We're still in eclipse season technically, and you still may get eclipse news from those powerful eclipses that happened in September. I'm not going to talk a lot about the eclipses now. If you want to hear about them, go to my August report, go to my September report. I went into a lot of details there. I also have my retrograde resource page when you sign up for my free newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. The eclipse resource, the eclipse resource page. Also the retrograde resource page is there. So all of these things you can go to kind of look at the eclipses. But what we need to know here is that news may still be delivered, because as of September 21st, that was the second eclipse. So we're just very, very recent, once we begin October, we've just very recently had that second eclipse. So we're not out of the intensity of those eclipses yet. And you may still see news coming in, those life-changing trajectory pieces of information. But in general, you still have a few weeks to make those decisions based on the information that came in, because a lot of you will be in this circumstance where stuff has come in. Now you have to figure out what the heck are you going to do with this new information or situation that has happened. And you've got good energy for that. And then as the month goes on, to start to shift into less proactive mode, more letting things come to you, leaving room for last minute magic, trying to not schedule too much after October 21st, scheduling things in pencil. And then, life will be much easier for you when you make those decisions. Okay, what else do we have going on here? Let's talk about some of the shorter term planets. We've got Venus in Virgo, activating your 8th house of Scorpio. We also have Mars moving through Scorpio and Star Goddess Lilith moving through Scorpio. So we have several lines of energy activating this very intimate space, power, transformation, collaboration. And we also have the Sun, soon to be Venus, Mercury in the sign of Libra, which also has to do with collaboration. So relationships, networking, friendships, any coming together with you and some other people for trying to get projects done. All of that is very strong at this time. And your power may lie behind, first of all, the autonomy from the Aries energies, but then you merging in with other people. Okay, so you will see things like wills, taxes, inheritances, lawsuits, settlements, those type of energies, those type of discussions. If you have to make a will, you've got a lot of good energy for that, especially in the first 3 weeks of the month. As we get into the deeper Scorpio season, you may be continuing to think about these things, but it's not as great for putting together a long-term will or something. I mean, unless you have to, unless your intuition is telling you to. The longer term things have better support for the first 3 weeks, and then a reevaluation or editing or reconsideration of things that were already in place after the 21st is more in the natural flow. So, figuring out how you tick psychological pursuits, figuring out your connection to the divine, spiritual pursuits, figuring out what makes your partner or people close to you tick, merging, collaboration, diving deep into family and other, storylines from your subconscious mind are all very, very wonderful pursuits for this period of time. And you may find yourself naturally gravitating towards these types of things. Or since you can purposely put energy there. Major psychological breakthroughs can come through. Or maybe you just find a great mystery series on TV or something, or find a great mystery book or something like that. The mystery is the energy that is starting to come in at this time, and that will continue, into November as well. Now, the Libra energies, I said that they also accentuate the 8th house. The Scorpio energies, the Libra energies highlight the 7th house of partnerships. The Scorpio energies highlight the 8th house of partnerships. Those are 2 partnership houses. So you're getting all of this, these layers of focus on relationships with other people. Now, when we're looking at the Scorpio movements, we start to move into the 10th house. But before we skip there, let's give a little bit more time to Libra moving through the 9th house, okay? Because for Aquarius, Libra transits move through your 9th house. And that not only makes a trine, the most favorable aspect in all of astrology, with your Aquarius placements, but it also accentuates your house of wonder and excitement and adventure and exploring your horizons and stretching beyond your comfort zone. And this can be stretched so far into another country even. This Sagittarius rules different countries and different cultures. So not only do you have all of these Libra, Venus, soon the Sun, Mercury, also the full moon at 28 degrees, not the full moon, the new moon at 28 degrees of Libra on October 21st. That's a big day. We have a lot going on. All of that is in this 9th house of Sagittarius. And then we have 3 star goddesses, Estrella, Vesta, and Juno, transiting through Sagittarius. So there's a lot of this, interest in the bigger picture, solutions, being the sage looking down from the mountain and finding the resolution to something that is outside the box. When I'm talking about Sagittarius energy, I always like to reference Einstein's idea that you can't solve a problem from the same line of thinking that made the problem, because you're kind of in a box with it. So you have to stretch beyond the problem in order to find the solution. So this may be a time of massive solutions. Whenever Sagittarius energy is present, this is true for everybody, but because this also accentuates the 9th house and it makes a trine for Aquarius placements, you have an increased chance for finding solutions and broadening your horizons. Teaching and learning may be on your mind. If you want to start a new course for learning, this is an amazing time to do that. If you want to start teaching, this is also an amazing time to do that, or bringing out content or something like that. Okay, so as the Sun and Scorpio join Mars, moving through, and Lilith is still there, moving through Scorpio, this highlights the 10th house for Aquarius, which is your work sector, work, career, employment. This is the house of father traditionally. It could be parents or parenting in general these days in our modern interpretations. Basically, the energy of Saturn is here, and whoever is that kind of, sometimes could be stern, could be stable, could be consistent, wise figure in your life, regardless of the gender, who has coached you through, difficulties in life and been that sort of anchor for you. And you may be that person for other people, and this may be what these transits are about now. Collaboration in work could also come up. If you need a new job, if you want to start a new business, if you want to expand laterally or have raises or get a promotion, this month is amazing for all of that. And if you have to ask, brand new, never talked about it before, the days up until October 21st have extra power, because once the retrograde comes in, you'll feel it. It's just, it makes things murky. It makes things sludgy. It's harder to move through. Everything goes slowly, and it sounds like it's bad. It's not really bad. It's great for a lot of things. It's great for resting and for reevaluating and for clearing up stuff, and, editing and just kind of being in the moment. The universe wants us to be in the moment, and sometimes we have to project forward and think and plan. And when the personal planets are direct, it's much easier to do that. But when we get too far into the future, too far away from the moment, we have this leveling effect from Mercury retrograde. This is something I don't talk about often. I do talk about in my book, Planetology, how to align with the natural rhythms of the universe. But I'll give you some information about this here. That 6 months of the year, we're in a retrograde cycle, whether it's the pre-shadow transit, the post-shadow transit, or the transit itself. We spend 6 months of our lives in retrograde. So if you think people are talking about it all the time, it's because half of our lives are spent in Mercury retrograde. And that's not even taking into consideration the Venus retrograde and Mars retrograde. So, but those times are when things get out of balance, when we get too forward thinking, speeding too much, trying to make too much happen. It's a natural cycle that the universe gives us, where it's not super easy to have clarity about moving forward. It's not super easy to see the future and try to plan for it. And that's purposeful. That is a gift from the universe that we have of just getting things back into the moment, leaving things as unscheduled as possible. I'm busy. I know it's not easy to leave things unscheduled. Some things you just have to do. But you'll notice that things move more smoothly when those day-to-day things that you have to schedule, dental appointments, just, getting all of these things done, they tend to be smoother when you're not wrestling with the scheduling issues of a retrograde. And communication is smoother. That is the point, because Mercury rules communication. So, if you tune into this shift, it will help you to align with the natural rhythm that's at play here. And if you just dial things back and say, okay, those long-term goals, maybe I don't really need to do that much with them now. Those things I've been really consistent with, maybe I need to take a little break now. Those things you've been super disciplined with, maybe, you can have a breather, or vice versa. Maybe you can get back to a discipline or get back to working on something in the backdrop for a future goal. But whatever it is, it's going to be dialed back and in the backdrop, and you'll see that energy shift when you pay attention to it. Okay, so if you are not working and you don't want to be working and you're retired or you're independently wealthy or whatever your story is, this is still going to activate your place out in the world, Maybe you have a civic matter you want to go to a public meeting about. Maybe you have a project that you want to help bring out to your community. Maybe you are working with something publicly that isn't having to do with money. So that 10th house can activate all of those things too. Okay, so besides the days I gave you, October 6th and October 21st, we talked about those. We also have a stretch of sweet aspects between October 8th and October 14th, and we have another stretch of sweet aspects between October 24th and October 30th. Littered throughout the month, we have more salty aspects than sweet ones as little nuisance blockers, including a longer term one with Chiron squaring Jupiter. This is many months in its connection. So there are these other factors that you will feel. Points of pressure. We have a lot of oppositions, trying to keep balance. You will notice these things littered throughout the month, but those sweet flows between the 8th and the 14th and the 24th and the 30th carry some extra nice, just more of a little buffer from, some of the other nuisances that are occurring during the month. If you want to have more details about the dates, my sweet and salty date write-up for October, my eclipse resource page, retrograde resource page, etc., go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, put your name and email address in there, get the welcome letter, click on the archive link, and put in October 2025 astrology, and you'll get the newsletter with all of those dates. The sweet and salty dates are about midway down, with this whole second half of the very long newsletter going into my favorite dates and the ones to be most awareful and careful of. If you want to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. We've got lots of Sagittarius energy and that 9th house accentuated. So if you're really, wanting to learn and you want a systematic approach instead of just piecemealing things where you can get to your goals to be able to adeptly read charts and give an amazing reading every time, I can teach you how to do that. And if you want to earn money from astrology, I can also teach you how to do that. So go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. Now, I am retired from personal readings, except for my personalized reports. And I do have a couple of really great ones. One is my outer planet transit report. So if you want to know what effects in your personal chart and learn about some of the general effects also of these outer planet movements, we've had every outer planet move into a different sign of late. Jupiter in Cancer, Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius. You want to see what's up in your personal chart and in general for that? Go to AnnieBClarity.com, Annie the letter B, Clarity.com, and see my outer planet transit report. I also have another report there to help you live in your highest expression. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Okay, bye.